War on poverty or war on the poor? Depends on who you ask about Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker's welfare reform plan that could go national if picked up by the GOP. One Democratic state rep claiming this, quote, instead of helping hardworking families get ahead, Governor Walker and Republicans are ramming through legislation that will only make their lives harder. The governor thinks that going after struggling families is the best way to fire up his base heading into a tough re-election bid. Well, let's ask him about it. Governor Walker, Republican, joins us now. Great to see you tonight, sir.
Thanks for having me on. Glad to be with you.
Okay, so let's talk about some of what's got them upset. There are stricter work requirements. There are people who will be excluded from welfare programs if they have homes or cars over a certain value. There are a lot of things that have upset the left. How do you respond?
Well, that's just it. They say it's making it harder to get government assistance. We say it's simple. It's about getting a job. We've got 3% unemployment. The only other time in the history of Wisconsin that we have unemployment at 3% that low was when Tommy Thompson was our governor back in the 1990s. He was a leader not just here in Wisconsin, but nationally in welfare reform for exactly the same reason we're pushing it right now. We've got anywhere from 80,000 to 100,000 job openings each week on our state website, jobcenterwisconsin.com. We need to get people off the sidelines and into the workforce, and we can do that with the kind of job training we're putting in place and the work requirements that say if you're working age and able-bodied, we expect you to be in the workforce or we're going to train you, and we expect that you're able to be screened for a drug test. Why? Because people every week, sometimes every day, tell me they need able-bodied working adults and they need people who can pass a drug test, and that's exactly what we're doing.
All right, I want to read you a quote from Sherry Tussler. She's the executive director of the Milwaukee Hunger Task Force. She says this: it's going to create hunger in the dairy state. More children, more families, more working people of low incomes are going to go without food. Vilifying low income people for needing assistance to put food on the table is just bad policy.
Well, she's just wrong on that, and the facts bear that out. We started out originally with going after food share. That's the food stamp program. I'm proud to tell you we've helped more than 25,000 people transition from government dependence to true independence through the dignity that's born of work. We can do that for more people. Even when it comes to things simple as screening for drug testing, we make sure that if someone fails a drug test, we don't just kick them out to the streets. We actually set money aside, resources aside, to help with rehabilitation. Why? Because we know if we get someone healthy, we can get them back up on their feet again. If we get them employability training and we get them resilience to get back into the workforce again, yeah, they need a little coaching, but along the way, we can find a job for everyone. That's great for taxpayers. That's great for employers who desperately need more workers in our state. But most of all, it's best for that person, because ultimately, nobody ever signs a high school yearbook saying good luck becoming dependent on the government. Everyone dreams when they're a child of living a life where they can control their own life and their own destiny going forward, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're empowering people to live their piece of the American dream.
You know the drug testing element is very controversial. It's been tried in other states. It's been floated in other states. Here's what The Atlantic had to say in an article when this was being discussed even a couple of months ago in Wisconsin, saying this: states bear high costs for drug tests that rarely come up positive. They went on to say that drug testing places yet another burden on low-income people who aren't drug users but have trouble finding time or transportation to complete the tests.
Again, a lot of red herrings out there. We've made it one-stop, easy, convenient places for people to go through this process. We have an easy screening process. They're just looking for excuses to keep people dependent on the government. That's the difference. Those on the left want people to become dependent on the government. We see it not only with welfare, we see it with many other programs. We actually believe in the individual. We believe in the person. We believe that if we empower people, we give them the support, the skills, and the training. And yes, for occasionally a few out there who need help with addictions, and that's a problem we see all over this country, if we get them the rehab and get them healthy again, there's no reason why people can't get back up on their feet again. It's simple. We'll help people when they're down and out, but for those who are able, we want to get them in the workforce. We think public assistance should ultimately be more like a trampoline and less like a hammock.
All right, Governor, we'll be watching as these continue to wind their way through the legislative process and to your desk. And as we said, we know a lot of folks are watching nationwide to see other states who may adopt your policies or at least see how they play out. We appreciate your time, Governor. Thank you.
Great to you. Thank you for having me on.